how will the world interpret the volatility coming out of Washington over the next couple of days?
I'm very concerned, Kevin. The United States of America, for decades, as the leader of the rules-based liberal international order, has been the beacon for democracy, for the rule of law, and for institutional foundations for the kinds of free market capitalist systems that have given the world freedom and prosperity since the end of World War II. It's an American-led system, an American-protected system, and now I'm concerned that we may be descending into a type of third world banana republic type fever pitch battles. I think the vice president made a terrible mistake in talking about specific states that he believes he can win. If he had simply come out and said to his supporters, let's respect the rule of law, let's respect the various voting statutes in various states, let's be patient, and let's let the process play out and keep it generic, it would have been the right thing to do. He made his statement. Now we see President Trump will likely make a similar, if not more fevered statement. And China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and all of our adversaries are scratching their heads and wondering what is happening to the great United States of America.
John, a very good morning to you. It's Manis in Dubai. From where I'm sitting, I'm surrounded by Saudi Arabia, Iran, I'm in the UAE and Israel. To my part of the world, what would a Biden victory mean for recalibrating the Saudi relationship, for example? Let's start there.
Let's start with Biden making very clear that he intends to re-engage Iran and to have the United States re-enter the JCPOA and essentially support Iran as a regional hegemon in the Middle East, which was the Obama policy that Trump upended. So we have the reemergence of Iran as a power player in the Middle East, first and foremost under a Biden presidency. I also believe there'll be a strong separation of interest between the United States and Saudi Arabia, largely with the human rights base inside the more progressive wing of the Democratic Party that continues to be repulsed by the execution of Jamal Khashoggi and general human rights abuses in Saudi Arabia, as well as being anti-fossil fuels. And I'm also very much concerned that with the recent successes in terms of diplomatic relations between Israel and Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates and now Sudan, that we'll have a Biden administration that goes back to the Israeli-Palestinian talks and taking that peace process backwards instead of forward. So I think a Biden presidency does not bode well in the immediate future for the Middle East.
John, do any trends we see if we were to get 4 more years of President Donald Trump, do they change or they get reinforced? And I'm thinking about not just the Middle East, as well as Russia and China.
Well, I would assume that under a Trump presidency, this is a president who believes that he doesn't need too much advice from his staff and his advisors, that his gut instinct have served him well in his career and in a quote unquote first term, depending on the outcome of this election. So I presume there'll be a level of continuity at first. But remember, the United States is not the only agent of change on the world stage. We don't know what China and its aggressive policies will look like in the next several years. We don't know what Russia is intending to do in Europe, in the Middle East, or in Northern Africa. We don't know if North Korea will be testing more aggressive nuclear and ballistic missile type weapons against the United States. And we don't know what the future of the Middle East holds, given the ongoing tensions between the Sunni Arab alliance, Israel versus Iran. So it's not only on Washington, it's also how Washington will respond to activities that those powerful leaders in other parts of the world decide to proceed with for their own reasons, regardless of who's in power in Washington.